Hello, I'm Steph at the Bead Shop in Nottingham. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some of our really popular festive earrings. Obviously this time of year they're going down incredibly well, so I thought I'd demonstrate how to make several of our more popular designs. So this is one of our most popular festive earrings. It's our little tree using Swarovski sew-on flowers, cube bead and a tiny little zillion on top. They're just really effective and really simple to put together. So I've got one that's partially made. So you can see here, you just thread the items on. So we start with our cube, and then these are the really effective sew-on flowers, which give you the lovely fern effect with their sort of scalloped edges. So you start with the largest, which is a 10mm, then the 8mm, 6mm, followed by a 3mm zillion bead on the top as our star. So once you've got all the beads on there, we need to make a loop above the top bead here so you can actually hang the tree as an earring. The best way to do that is to use round nose pliers to get a really nice rounded shaped loop. There are many different ways of making loops. This is the way I find most comfortable to make them, and they tend to end up fairly consistent, and I find this is the easiest way to teach people as well. So best thing to do, use round nose pliers. I'm using them quite close to the tip of the nose so that I don't end up with absolutely ginormous loops. These should end up a few millimetres wide, which is ideal. And I need a few millimetres gap in between the top of the bead and where the pliers are gripping the wire. That way when I make my first move, I'm not going to damage that top bead at all. So I usually do this parallel to myself and do all the bending this way, but if I do that you're not going to be able to see anything, so I'm going to actually tilt my work to the side so you can see what I'm doing. So the first things first, I'm going to bend the wire, firmly gripping the beads below and using the pliers to actually push the head pin 45 degrees away from me. Okay, that's the first step. Then the next bit is to push the short piece of wire over the top of the pliers and pointing down. There we go. And then to complete the loop, we're going to push the wire behind to complete the circle. But before I do that, I need to move my pliers out of the way. So I just hold on to my earring, twizzle my pliers round so I'm gripping the top of the loop, and then push the rest of the wire behind. And I end at about 90 degrees. So you can see there I've got a really nice shaped loop above the bead. Obviously I need to cut this excess bit of wire off. Now I'm right-handed, so I will be holding my cutters in my right hand with the blade facing the loop, and the excess is on my left side, so I don't want to cut the excess off on this side, which is what everyone always wants to do. Instead, I'm going to be cutting the excess wire off, but from inside the loop. So I'm positioning my cutters just inside the loop there. And then when I squeeze the pliers, the excess comes away and you're left with a loop that doesn't overlap in the centre. So all I need to do now is close the loop with chain nose pliers with a gentle twist. And there we have a finished tree. So we need to turn that into an earring, so that requires attaching a fish hook. So these have a very similar hook on the bottom, loop on the bottom, as to the one we've just created. So it's dead easy to use, and I always flip the fish hook upside down, and you can see at the front where the little opening is. I'm using chain nose pliers with the flat inside edge. I'm just going to grip the top of the loop and just slightly twist it by pushing and twisting towards me. Now that gap isn't very big, but it just needs to be big enough to pop the loop of my earring in, hold on to that and twist it closed again. So little actions are always good. You don't then distort the loop. And just twisted that back into place, and that's all assembled. So you have a matching pair of earrings. So the loops on all of these earrings are going to be made in exactly the same way. I'm just now going to show you how to assemble each different design. So there are very, very popular Christmas treats. We also have got a very, very effective stack of Swarovski cubes, and as you can see from this one, these are crystal AB and they're incredibly sparkly. If glitz isn't your thing and you like something a bit more traditional, then we've got Siam cubes with a lovely gold plated bow bead on top. And these are really, really popular and have been going down very well in the shop so far this season. So the best way to assemble those is if I just show you how they're stacked together. This one is very, very straightforward. We have a bow bead on top, so that's actually got a hole through the middle of the bow, and then the 3 different size cubes go on first. So we've got 8mm at the bottom, followed by 6mm and 4mm, and then the gap between the ends of the bow fit brilliantly over the top of the 4mm cube, which creates a really nice stack. And then using the same methods as with the tree, you create your loop, leaving a tiny little gap above the bead, between the bead and the pliers, and again exactly the same process. So 45 degrees away from you, over the top towards you, move your pliers and push the excess behind. Then cut off the excess wire and attach your fish hook. So I know that was very, very quick, but the more you do these things, the easier it gets. And I sometimes find that having a little rhythm in your mind helps with the process. So they're the present stacks. Now another sweet little one is our snowman. So very, very simple. And that's a slightly lighter weight and smaller earring design in total. And this one is assembled in a very, very similar way. So we have a 8mm white Swarovski pearl at the bottom, followed by a 6mm Swarovski pearl. We have one single black cup sequin as the top of the hat, sort of rim of the hat, and then a size 8 or double Mayuki Delica on top to form the top hat, which is just a really, really nice simple way to do that. The hats can be made in lots of different ways with the cube beads or something a bit more sparkly, and they're quite fun to play around with. And you can also customise them so you can make all your friends a snowman with a different coloured hat if you wanted to. Again, the loops will be made in exactly the same way. Another one that goes down very well is our lovely angelic angel. So this one, a few more beads involved here, but again exactly the same process. You thread the beads onto the head pins and then create the loop on top afterwards. And as you can see, she's got a very, very sparkly halo. And these are made up of a crystal Artemis bead, which is the conical shaped bead there, followed by angel wing beads, which are a tiara cast component, and very nice. So they slide on and they fit really nicely on top of the Artemis bead. And then we have a 6mm round faceted bead, which is a Swarovski crystal, which creates a really good head. And then followed by a 6mm silver plated or rhodium plated Swarovski rondelle bead. And she makes a very, very nice angel. And the loop again will be in exactly the same fashion, leaving just a little bit of a gap between the top of the rondelle and the pliers. So there we have another pair. And finally, and this is one of my favourites, is the Artemis bead Christmas tree. I just think they're incredibly elegant and really fun, and it's a lovely colour. They're the dark fern green. So we have a gold version and also a silver version. So the silver one's a little bit more contemporary, I think. So again, you can see how these are made up. These have at the base, because the Artemis beads actually have a design to fit beads inside. You can see that there's like a cone, curved conical shape in the bottom there. They fit perfectly over a 6mm bead. So I've got a faceted 6mm 5000 bead there, followed by the 17mm Artemis bead, so they just fit really well together at the base. And then on my gold pair I have Dorado 2 times, which are really nice metallic gold shade on top for the star, and on the silver ones I have a Comet Argent Light sparkly bead on top there, which is really effective. And again, they're made in exactly the same way, creating a loop above the bead and attaching the fishhook. All kits and materials can be found on our website www.mailorder-beads.co.uk. You'll also find templates for how-to leaflet, which is really useful step-by-step guide to how to make loops, and other useful tips and hints on there as well.